Hey guys, and welcome back to another What If here. Today we are doing a complete and absolute redo of What If Naruto was a girl slash female part 1. And if you're curious, what do I mean by a complete and true redo? Well, what I mean by that is that, say obviously in the title and in the thumbnail, there is no redo, remake, version 2 or anything like that, as it's going to be how from say 3 years ago from now, how I say Naruto, did just a more up-to-date version on how I now see a female Naruto, a born female Naruto that takes more after Kushina appearance wise, and more after her clan and Kushina. So with that, also hope you guys, because it's New Year, so a happy New Year to all you guys and girls out there, and let's get into this what if, to this part 1 of this what if. Naruto, anyway, let's continue. Naruto would burst through the Hokage's doors, shouting GG as Hiruzen would look up with a big smile on, with a genuine smile on his face as he'd go, Naruto-chan. Sit down, I'll be done in a minute or so. And after that we can then go and have Ichiraku ramen. Yeah? Okay. She'd say as she'd walk over and sit down, as Hiruzen would, a minute or so later, and Hiruzen would finish was finishing, had finished off what he was doing, as he'd realised he'd never really asked why Naruto wanted to be a shinobi, a kunoichi, so badly. Sure, she was 6 and she'd been in the academy now for somewhat, you could think almost, 2 years, as she'd started when she was 3 and she was now 6. And if you're like, but that adds up to 4, no, 3. Well, no, she didn't start on her birthday, of course, obviously. Anyway, here's and go, hey, Naruto-chan, I'm somewhat curious about something, because she'll go, what's that, GG? Well, why do you want to be Kunoichi so badly? Why do you want to be a shinobi of Konoha? She'd go, I should somewhat, scratch the cheek as she'd go, I've got 2 reasons. I've got 2 reasons. One of them is because, my dream is to become, Hokage, and the next one is less of a dream and more of a goal. As you go, and that is, as she would then get dead serious, which, Hiruzen would very obviously notice, and even the Anbu behind her would notice that she'd gotten dead serious, as she'd say, because I want the second reason and why it's a goal and not a dream is because I want to get strong. I want to show that Kunoichi can be just as strong, if not stronger, than ninja, than the male shinobi. I want to show that. I want to show the Kunoichis out there that girls can be strong, and that we can be stronger than them, stronger than any person out there, and kind of be, I guess, a figure for them, as yeah, a figure, a person to somewhat aim for or look up to show the girls that yes, Kunoichi can do feats that, you know, people will otherwise tell you that only the male shinobi can do. And Hirosumi just nod at that as she'd been training since since she was somewhat about 3 years old. She'd been doing push-ups, sit-ups, jogs around Konoha. And here's would someone just nod and go, well then, what are you currently up to? And what's your training like then? As she'd then continue to tell her, she'd then start telling Hiruzen about what she was somewhat training in, which at the very moment was her speed, her strength, her reaction time, and her flexibility and also something newly added was also chakra control, as she had an insane amount of chakra for her age. And and having the 9,000 inside of you, you're going to be having a lot more than even she's born with just like average Uzumaki reserves for a newborn baby. So Minto had sealed the entire fox inside of Naruto instead of half of it. So she is the full Jinchuriki of the 9,000 fox, no half thing like that. Anyway, from there, another 6 or so years would go by as she would now be 12 years old. As throughout somewhat the academy, she had gotten the ironic nickname of what her mother used to be called, what her mother's nickname used to be in the academy, which was her nickname was Kusuno's nickname, and now even her own nickname was the Red Hot Blooded Habanero. And so she'd share that with her mum. She was, incredibly cute and beautiful, and whilst many very much, she somewhat suffered the same thing like Sasuke. Though Sasuke suffered with fangirls, she suffered with fanboys. Somewhat up until she's somewhat had enough of them and started to beat them up. And at one point she even turned one sterile. Turned one sterile? What do you mean by that? Well, quite simply, she'd either, it was somewhat more so it was outside the academy, and the person had been somewhat stalking her for a bit now, which she'd very much obviously noticed. Heck, she could feel his chakra, so the second boy came out, and she immediately recognised him from her academy class, and a few seconds later, and she'd thrown a kunai between his legs, which cut his balls off, meaning that he could no longer get a girl pregnant. So and they would very much almost jammed the kunai straight into the person's heart, even if it wasn't for Nabu coming down and saving the poor boy's life. So the boy got to keep his penis, but not his balls. So and it was around that very much same time, when she'd gotten that nickname, and when a lot of her fanboys had started becoming fanboys and had started to fear for their own genitals. As Yeah, and by the time she reached 10, there was a slight rumour going around that she'd even straight up turn a poor man into a woman. Though, in her defence, it was that person's fault for being a pervert and spying on either her or the other Kunoichi and civilian girls in the somewhat bath in the I forgot what it's called. Yeah. Yeah, so she'd thrown a wild kunai, materializing a kunai and just throwing it at somewhat high speed, completely cutting off the person's penis and balls. And it wasn't her, well, that was her first time doing it, though it wasn't her last, as she had done it to a couple of other people since then, all because they decided that they would want to see, wanted to be perverts and look at naked women in the bath. So, yeah, they became women, pretty much. Anyway, so, yeah. Well, currently she just gotten her head height. She'd currently be sitting in class waiting for Iruka to kind of get a move on and announce the teams. She was already somewhat getting, though she'd seen Gennings fail she'd seen people who'd passed Genning come back. Though, and how? Well, more so because she had been, around when, more so, like, around the training grounds or like that, and she'd seen a silverhead person fail at least 2 different teams. So, yeah, and of course being interested in the who and of the silverhead person had very much read up on that silverhead one-eyed shinobi, which had going to the library had revealed that it was Kakashi Hatake, or Kakashi the copycat ninja, or the person who's copied 1,000 jutsu, over 1,000 jutsu. And yeah, so she'd somewhat initially figured that the person must have, or this Kakashi person must have a high standard, but as she read more about him, she realised, and thinking back on the two teams she'd seen him fail, had realised that he valued somewhat teamwork and that they never showed teamwork. So yeah, while she was somewhat happy to get the first of 2 stages done, the second one was a lot more difficult due to the fact it required her working with her team to pass whatever test you may choose, which is generally a bell test where he has 2 bells and you have to go and try and grab them using teamwork, not just by yourself. And yeah, whereas she probably wasn't sure that she could even take on this Kakashi person, as it was even stated in the library that, or the book that she was reading about him, that he was even once an Anbu member. So yeah, she was pretty damn sure that she wouldn't be able to defeat him alone. That's if she even got him as a sensei, which she highly doubted, but that was a chance. And yeah, she would just look out the window as Iruka would ramble on about how proud he was on all his class graduating, and that they would all be becoming shinobi, and that their life would now get even harder, which, though for her she somewhat can't quite, though she snorted in her head, yeah right, harder, more like that once we passed the second test, which was obvious that you wouldn't be speaking about. Anyway, yeah, though she'd think back on yesterday, as she was going to hand in her photo for her shinobi registration, her kunoichi registration. I was, yeah, she, well, yeah. Yeah. Whoops, whacked my mic. Though her appearance, well, yeah, her somewhat shinobi attire, was her beautiful, somewhat red hair. Not really. She didn't really put it more so up because, as it is obviously a shinobi registration, she wasn't going to be fighting anyone, so she'd kept it down. But yeah, she kept a nice, somewhat red. A nice, beautiful long red hair which went down to her somewhat butt at the moment, though it was slowly grown past her butt. She also had beautiful violet eyes, just like her mother did. And yeah, she pretty much looked somewhat exactly like Kushina, besides from maybe slightly bigger breast size than what Kushina had at her age, or slightly smaller, or the exact same size. But besides from that difference, she generally looked somewhat a lot like Kushina, minus the shinobi attire that both wore at the time. With her, Nato's shinobi attire being, so black shinobi, blue shinobi sandals. Blue shinobi sandals, black Anbu style kunoichi trousers, form-fitting trousers with her hitai acting somewhat like a belt trouser. It was somewhat elastic. She still used it as a belt. Yeah. From there, she'd have, her then top half considered of, a sports bra, then a fishnet top, then a somewhat regular, either white, it was either somewhat white or a dark red short sleeve top, and then above that was a somewhat a dark red jacket, long sleeved jacket, with obviously her clown crest, the Uzumaki symbol, on the back of it. And generally, if she was actually either taking a mission or that, she'd generally tie her hair up either into a ponytail or straight up just plait it for the sake of it. If they were ever waiting for, say, their sensei, she may plait her hair instead, or she even may leave her hair down. Yeah, like in the current time that she'd let her hair down, as she'd handed in the photo to Hiruzen, as Hiruzen had somewhat told her that she looked quite beautiful and somewhat exactly like her mother. As she did know, because about her mother, she was told when she was around 7 or 8 years old. Hiruzen decided to tell her about Kushina, her mother, and what she held inside of her, the nine-tailed fox, and that he would tell her who her father was when she became a genin, and she knew that he meant true genin, though at the time she didn't really realize, so she really aimed to be a genin. And anyway, though she'd somewhat snap out at hearing the end of the start of who Team 7 would consist of, which she'd heard somewhat an ass, so she'd heard an ass, as she'd pay attention, as Iruka would say, Sakura Haruno Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto, for her part, was just somewhat shy as she had the arrogant arse and the insanely pretty much banshee fangirl. Yep, she could very much easily see her returning to the academy due to the two idiots not really wanting to work with her, because Sasuke was arrogant, he didn't want to work with people, he saw everyone below him. And yeah, especially somewhat more so definitely on the Kunoichi side, so any Genin Kunoichi, he would think, you're weaker than me, because that was just the stereotype of them, though, and especially in the academy, considering the Kunoichi never got to face the ninja or the male shinobi. They never really got to spy against one another, thus she generally either spied against I can't remember her name, Hinata, or the so-called best in class, which was Sakura. Though, and to the class's incredible surprise, she had been made, this precise year, the year they would be graduating, she'd been named the Shinobi of the Year. And there were somewhat three kind of titles. There was the Ninja of the Year, which was the best male shinobi. Then there was the Kunoichi of the Year, the best female ninja. And then and then out of those two, the best shinobi, so be that male or female. And since Konoha had been founded, it had always been held by a male. So this was the first and possibly maybe only year that a female took the actual somewhat title as Rookie of the Year. And yeah, she was somewhat proud of it, as she'd been seen at the start. When she was 5. So when the academy properly started up, the Shinobi Academy properly started up, and they'd started training in the ways of a shinobi, she'd been seen as the dead last for good 2 roughly years. So yeah, and it even surprised Sasuke as he was outdone by a girl, and that really ticked him off. It really made him mad that a girl had beaten him. And yeah, and the even more annoying thing was that she rarely showed any kind of amount of true intelligence. When she was either asked about, something, she would generally give like a somewhat very kind of just direct, kind of goofy, somewhat direct answer that the person that had asked the question to her would have to figure out the answer within the answer she gave. Yeah. And yeah. Anyway, though, of course, Team 8 and 10 would be the same in canon. Nothing really changed there. And though Iruka would tell them to come back in mind that they would be breaking that they would have an hour somewhat break to get to know their teammates. And with that, he would then dismiss them, as Sakura would pretty much ask Sasuke almost immediately on a date, with Sasuke saying no and going off to train or whatever. She'd somewhat sigh as she'd get up and seemingly disappear out of that. Of course, she'd know the ascension, why wouldn't she? Yeah. And she would just somewhat, she'd ascend to the top of, of the Hokage monument, more specifically on the fourth Hokage's head, as she would just somewhat sigh as she was just wondering why was she put on this team. Yeah, she'd get that to find she was the best. Well, she was the Rookie of the Year, and as such was the best Kunoichi of the Year, and Sasuke was the best was the best Ninja of the Year. So they would be paired up with the worst student, or at least that's what she thought, which was Kiba. Kiba was the worst one out of everyone. He was the worst one, so she'd somewhat slightly more hope that Kiba would be put on that team, but nope. It was the Banshee Sakura. And yeah. Though, well, yeah, and well, she'd somewhat think over her jutsus and what she could do. As well, her jutsus, her jutsus were replacement. Yeah, the replacement jutsu that everyone learns in the academy. Transformation. She had a clone which she'd learned at the age of 10, because Susan had gave it to her, but I had told her that she'd have to stay in the academy for 2 more years, which she'd sighed, but I'd said fine, she'd stay on for 2 more years in the academy, which gave her the also somewhat slight benefit of being able to train for 2 more years. And yeah, of course, she also had, she could also do the normal clone jutsu and the Senshin. Yeah, that'd be 5. Yes. Yeah. And if you're like, oh, but she's got too much chakra to even, do that. If you're saying, oh, she's got say natural Uzumaki reserves plus the full 9-tail, she'd have too much chakra and not enough control. Well, Naruto had been training since she was 4 years old, somewhat 3, since she'd entered the academy, in her strength, speed, agility, reflexes. And once they had started the shinobi and once the academy truly started training them in the ways of a shinobi, and as such, had somewhat taught the civilians, had teach the class how to awaken their chakra or gain control over their chakra, or just how to use it. She then went ham in learning how to control it, to the point where she pretty much could also, she was medic nin level. She trained hard in medical ninjutsu. She could, she could very much go into the hospital in Konoha and be a labelled medic nin. But of course she never would, as the second you showed any talent in medical ninjutsu, they'd push you in that direction, which she found annoying, as the one person who tried pushing in that direction, she had very much beaten up into a bloody pulp. And from that, the person had kept away from her and was somewhat terrified of her, ironically. Though, she could also obviously, she also had access to the 3 Geki Genkai of the Uzumaki clan, which are the Healing Bite, which all Uzumakis do, and I think even canon Naruto would. That the Mind's Eye of Kaguya, which we're not 100% sure if Naruto does have. We just know he's a Sense type due to the start of the Land of Wraith mission when Naruto is alerted and throws a kunai at a white rabbit, as Kakashi muses that Naruto must be a a sensor. Yeah, and of course the Uzumaki adamantine chains. So yeah, though Hiruzen didn't know of the Uzumaki chains, he knew of them obviously because Kushina, but he didn't know that Naruto herself had access to them because she wanted to surprise him with it. And as such, she'd kept it quite from him, though she'd trained heavily in control of it to properly control them, to be able to make barriers or suppress chakra and blah. And anyway, yeah. And so, an hour later, and she'd be back in the academy. And another 3 hours later, and a lazy Kakashi would walk in as she would look up, she would hear and could feel a chakra signature coming toward, or at least somewhat passing their classroom, but definitely possibly going towards the door. And she's somewhat hoping, because it had been 3 hours now, that this was Sensei, and when the person would enter, she'd immediately recognise him. Recognise him as Kakashi Hatake, and would immediately somewhat cross quietly under breath as, this was the one Sensei she hoped she wouldn't get with this team. She hoped she'd get someone who was somewhat more maybe understanding and more willing to give them a chance, even if they didn't show any signs of teamwork, hopefully. But yeah, she was doomed. Pretty much. Yeah, she believed that, she just went, screw it, I'm doomed. I'd probably, though she'd still give her, of course, her best shot to see. Though he'd somewhat look up, and before he could say anything, he would just say, Team 7, and at that, Sakura would pretty much burst out and say, Sensei, you're late, as Sasuke would somewhat wince at that, as Sakura had practically shouted it right at, his ear, pretty much. And Kakashi would just go, my first impressions of you is that you're all noisy. Now then, meet me on the roof. With that, he'd disappear as Sakura then turned to ask something of Sasuke, though Sasuke would just walk past and would walk straight, run past as Sakura then was going to turn around to glare at thin air as she'd go, where's Naruto back? As, of course, she'd still hold herself above Naruto, even though Naruto was the Kunoichi of the year. She truly thought she was stronger than Naruto, and that any win Naruto got over her was only because she wasn't in the mood or something, or it was just luck or something like that. Yeah, she just generally thought that Naruto was weaker than her, was the dead last. Anyway, though, of course, what Naruto had done had sent to the roof the second that no eyes were she'd disappeared and sent to the top of the to the roof. Though Kakashi would somewhat be surprised, and he had taken Hiruzen's warning quite literally, as Hiruzen had warned him when Hiruzen had told him that he would be the sensei of Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto, and that obviously his team number would be Team 7. That they would to not read any type of porn in front of her, as she would A, probably rip it apart, and B, probably make you into a woman. And Kakashi knew to truly take that seriously, as she had made several men, grown-ass men, into women throughout the somewhat 2 years he'd seemingly started turning men into women. And Kunoichi population was a lot more happier, because while the perverts were somewhat more scared and definitely weren't doing it as much in Konoha. But they were obviously still perverts in Konoha. They were just not as brave as they were prior to her turning them into women. Yeah. And now to somewhat we just look at Kakashi and go, I've got a feeling we're going to fail, as Kakashi would crack an eyebrow and go, what do you mean you passed you passed the test? As you just look at him and go, I know there's a second test, Sensei, or should I even bother to call you Sensei, as you're not technically my Sensei yet. So I'll call you Kakashi instead. As you'd go, you've heard of me? As she'd go, well, I saw you a couple of years back fell two of your teams. Well, yeah, two of the teams that the old man had assigned you, so I went and looked up your name, or who you are. And yeah, safe to say, you were the last person I hoped to get as a Sensei, not because I think I'm either stronger than you or some stupid thing like that. No, it's quite simple, because, well, my team, I've got a strong feeling that we're probably going to fail this, as Sasuke is an arrogant ass who only believes that he's the strongest and nobody is stronger than him, and Sakura pretty much believes in, funny enough, the same thing, though with pretty much the only person being stronger than her being Sasuke, and she worships the ground he walks on. Anything he touches she'll be wanting. So yeah, I believe we're going to fail this. As Kakashi and shrug, well, you never know, you may pass. As she'd say, and she'd just shrug, I guess, but still, there's a higher percentage of chance that we will fail than pass. But then again, you could be right, and you could end up passing us. But yeah, whilst I may be looking at failure here, it doesn't mean I ain't gonna try my hardest. And if that meant beating the shite out of them to get into their heads that we need to work as a team, or even sterilize one gal and possibly sterilize or feminize one boy, I don't mind doing that at all. I've done it enough now that I've gotten pretty good that they should, they very much should live through it. Kakashi somewhat just slightly got practiced how he's usually saying about obviously just cutting into people and cutting stuff out, or yeah. And there were a couple minutes later, and Sasuke and Sakura would arrive. Sakura arriving seconds after Sasuke, as Sasuke would just glower at Naruto and go, "Dope, how did you pass me?" As she'd just look at him and go, "Huh? Did you say anything?" Because Kakashi, in his mind, would somewhat cheer that he had someone on his side, and across Konoha, someone would be yelling, "No!" and that someone had a call at that Kakashi had now got a mini him, and that his mini me and his mini him shall be eternal rivals. Which and and that guy saying that, that guy saying that Kakashi should legitimately shiver, as he'd think, oh no, something bad just happened. And though once Sasuke and Sakura would sit down, he would then point at Sakura and say, would just tell her to introduce herself, though Sakura would reply the same as in canon, and thus both Kakashi's introduction would be the same, so would Sakura's and Sasuke's. And Naruto's one would be relatively somewhat similar, though relatively the same, though she would definitely say that she loved to train. Anyway, so with that, he would then somewhat start chuckling darkly as Sakura would ask why he was doing that, as Kakashi would go, I don't want to know, as Sakura would then somewhat would try pressing him, though he would let up and would tell her or them, though Naruto already knew that they technically hadn't passed, and that they still had passed one more test which had a 66% failure rate, and that if they failed this test they'd be going back to the academy for possibly one more year. And Sasuke somewhat levelled a glow at him. Sakura had somewhat screeched out that was unfair, and Naruto just wanted to somewhat strangle her or shut her up some way. Because seriously, she's starting to truly think that by the end of it should be deaf, or at least deaf in one ear. Or either deaf in one ear and very down close to being deaf in another. No other ear. Though, Kakashi would continue to say what he said in canon, which I can't quite remember, though I know he said that by the end of it, that he suggested them to not eat breakfast, with him somewhat sunshine away, though he didn't sunshine far, as he would want to obviously see if they would maybe come up with a plan, though Sasuke would immediately get up and start walking away with Sakura. Someone asking where he was going, and Sasuke would just say to train, and Sakura would just go and just follow him then. That would somewhat sigh, as it seemed like none of them were bothering to somewhat look up any information or ask if she knew anything about him. Well, you win some, you lose some. And thus she somewhat left. From that she then just left and somewhat went on her way to do her daily somewhat training routine. Of somewhat jogging around, doing around, say, 30 laps around Konoha, jogging around Konoha, then a 5 or so minute break, then a full out speed run around Konoha to see how fast she was. And from there she would then do taijutsu, which would use a shadow clone, and you think, how shadow clone should be bad because they dispel him and go. Well, initially that's how it was, though she had messed about with the shadow clone enough to figure out how to reinforce it. And she'd also learned how to pin and how to somewhat pick and choose the memory she gets back, so she'd always chose, so it generally meant the pain and fatigue that would otherwise come back when releasing a clone or dispelling a clone, she wouldn't get any of that. She'd get the initial short-term somewhat pain or that, or as the memories obviously entered her, any pain that the clone had suffered, she would get as well, but no fatigue or anything like that. And yeah, it helped in obviously taijutsu, and especially helped when, well, especially in her case, because, well, it was pretty much like her fighting someone who was exactly equal to her, and it always provided the best circumstances for her, as it would be like, say, for her obviously sparring someone very much equal to her, as obviously, her fighting style was unpredictable, thus her and her clone, like if you had a style fighting, a shadow clone of yourself would, yield some benefits, like where flaws were in that, but over time, and once you fix all those flaws that you can see, you'd eventually, it'd just be like which one would tire out the fast. Whereas for Naruto, and obviously said clone, because her fighting style was completely and utterly unpredictable, random, that it meant that she could fight one way, and her clone would fight in another way. So yeah, it was like they had two different fighting styles altogether, and that the only thing that was the same was the stance in which they took to flow into said fighting. Anyway, and with that, the next day would come with, and she'd mused that if Kakashi was 3 hours late, then maybe he'd be 3 hours late as well, as she'd asked around after that to any shinobi or that to see if they had any obviously connections with Kakashi, and if they did, how late was he? Like, was he an hour late, half an hour, 2-3 hours? To see when to best obviously somewhat get there, because she'd still get up at 8, but she wanted to actually use her time productively. She didn't want to be standing in a field for 3 goddamn hours waiting for a sensei. She could be, she could be obviously running around kind of her doing her exercise, her initial training, her exercise, and obviously within an hour or so, she'd be back up within an hour and a half, 2 hours of finishing her workout routine. She'd be ready, should be fully recharged and ready for a fight. So, yeah. And she'd like that. Kakashi, depending on mission rank, depending on how late he would be. So, if it was a D rank, he'd probably generally come 3 hours late before, getting a D rank mission. If it was a C rank, he would be there within 10-20ish minutes. So he'd be 10 to 20 minutes late. If it was a B rank, 5 minutes late, 5-6 minutes late. And A to S rank missions, he was there. He was early. He wasn't late, he was early, as they were obviously truly, high-ranking missions that had to be somewhat done by the elite, the strong of the village, and thus he'd always go early to those to get them done with. And yeah, and so with that, and she'd presumed that this would probably be something like a D rank, or just of no importance really to him, so he'd be 3 hours late. And so she'd somewhat done her normal morning routine. Well, after she'd gotten dressed into her, when she was out of her house awake and everything that she had to do was done. And she also ate breakfast because she may act stupid, but she wasn't that stupid. She knew that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, and that anyone that would skip it, especially Shinobi, who skipped it, were just absolute idiots. Because, there was Shinobi, they would burn off the freaking food, and considering it's Kakashi who would be 3 hours late, they would most definitely have more than likely digested the food by then, and so they wouldn't even be able to throw up nothing, and if they did, it'd be whatever air was in their stomach, it would be let out. So, I guess you could throw up air, but that was it. And, sometime later, and Naruto would arrive at the training grounds 3 hours later, or more specifically 3 hours and a minute or so later. Should be a minute or so late, though she didn't really care that she was a minute or so late. There's Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura, would be there just staring at her, and she'd go, "What?" As Sakura, before Kakashi could speak, Sakura would go, "You're late." As she would go, "So, at least I'm here." And I bet Sensei was 3 hours late. As Sasuke, someone just glared at her and said, how do you know that?" "Well, I wonder, there are these things that walk on 2 legs and that can speak the same language that we are speaking at the moment. I think they're called people, and I asked them about Kakashi, Sensei, which I thought you would do as well, considering he's a Sensei, and he didn't really tell us much. So I went around and asked him some stuff. I'm not gonna go out and find yous, because it was clear that yous could care less about me, so why would I go looking for yous? To go, look what I learned about it, if yous weren't going to do it yourself. It just showed that yous were lazy. Extremely lazy. Then Kakashi was somewhat taken aback at, though that was a smart thing to do, as he'd look at her and go, "Though, why were you 3 hours late? I gave you 3 hours, you're 3 hours and 1 minute late." As she'd shrug, "Well, first when I woke up, I had a nice warm meal, breakfast. Then I went and, before that I had a nice shower. Then, I had a nice somewhat warm breakfast, then went and, did somewhat my morning training routine, which took around an hour, or half an hour or so. Then from there, from what I could remember of how Sasuke and Sakura would fight, and from what I heard on how you fought, on how you fight, and then using Shadow Clones, I had made a somewhat mock fight of us three working as a team to fight you, and working out different plans of action. Then after that, from there, after that I took a bit of a break, and then went back home and decided to have a somewhat shower, because I was quite sweaty and that, and thought, well, you probably won't be exactly maybe pleased, or I don't know, but I decided that I'd at least somewhat get washed, so I wasn't somewhat all sticky and that, and my clothes wouldn't hang to me when we would get to fighting or whatever this is. From there, I just decided to somewhat relax and just, well, wait a while. After all, you was at the monument, for the better part of 3 hours now, weren't you? Sensei, as Cassie would be surprised and go, what? How did I know that? Well, yeah, no, clones, very, very useful, especially shadow clones. They're incredibly quite useful. So, yeah, that's how, as Cassie would go, So, well, at least you used your time wisely, though. Next time, if you're going to moan about me being late, well, firstly, Sensei, if you start coming on time, I'm going to start coming on time. If you don't, then I'm not. Because what's the point of, say, arriving to a place 3 hours early? A place when you're only going to waste our time and make us wait 3 hours, while I could easily go and somewhat do a couple of warm-ups and train by myself for a little bit before coming here and then doing whatever missions or like D-rank missions or anything like that you want us to do for the day. Kakashi just start from it before going, well, moving on now. As, yeah, the somewhat, he was just stunned that, Naruto, her record that he was obviously given showed that she was just barely, she was somewhat, I was initially thought she was barely above Sakura, but Sakura was below Sasuke, so she was, in intelligence and that she was barely above Sakura, she was barely above Sasuke in practically every aspect. But yeah, so he didn't exactly, he knew she'd probably be maybe good, but he wasn't expecting that she'd done a complete full report, pretty much asking people, should know probably possibly every damn shinobi in Konoha if about him, to get any amount of knowledge from them that they would give her. And yeah, it was obviously a very smart move to do, because from there though, he would then proceed to somewhat pull out 2 bells and explain the bell test and what he wanted them to do. Or he'd hint at what he wanted them to do, which was to work as a team to grab the 2 bells from him, and he would pass them. But of course, what he'd said was that, he just pulled out 2 bells, and Sakura would state that they would have to get 2 bells, and Sakura would somewhat, I would say the same thing, which would lead Kakashi to say what he said, and he would then say start with all 3 disappearing, with Kakashi completely losing track on where Naruto went. It straight up was like she vanished. And just like yesterday, he wouldn't pull out his book he would pull out a book, but it wasn't anything to do with make-out tactics, or aka porn. Yeah, it was obviously it wasn't the only book Kakashi read, or series that he reads. The other book he'd currently pulled out was the only non-perverted book that Dreyer had published, which was his first book, which was the Tales of the Gutsy Ninja, or something like that. Yeah. And, well, yeah. And so, because it somewhat it reminded him of, well, not really of, well, it somewhat reminded him more so of just, well, yeah, of how it is possible, how his life somewhat slightly used to be, and he just generally enjoyed reading it, and that. And, yeah, though Naruto would go to somewhat Sasuke and would tell him that they should work together, though Sasuke would just blow off and go Soto and go, I can beat him myself, and should just silent go, he's a Jonin, you're not even a Genin. Sasuke, none of us are Genin yet. Are you that stupid that you try and go up against an ex-Anbu captain? Are you seriously that stupid that you'd go up against an S-rank ninja when we're probably not even D ranks? Ninja. Sasuke would snap his head to her and go to someone look at her and, how do you know that? Well, I don't know. There's a large building with a load of books in, what's it called? Right, a library. Sasuke. You just glare at her before just somewhat being the first one to actually initiate an attack and not Naruto. More so because he would want to prove that he is strong and that he could take Kakashi down. Naruto would somewhat say, and would just sit there as she would watch Kakashi very lazily beat him and bury him up to his neck. And, well, yeah, with that, seconds later he would disappear and she would hear a scream, which was Sakura. And she would muse that Sakura was probably passed out now from that scream, and Kakashi would then somewhat reappear back in the middle of the clearing where he was somewhat initially standing reading the book. And yeah, though she knew she couldn't, or at least she maybe not be able to, or at least, well, Sasuke was in broad daylight, so she would somewhat make a shadow clone and send that out to somewhat distract Kakashi, and considering if Kakashi decided to land a blow on her, the clone wouldn't dispel immediately, which would give the false illusion to Kakashi that he was actually fighting the real Naruto. And, well, yeah, so with that, and a minute or so would go by as her clone had managed to push the fight more into the forest or forested area. And with that, and with with her shadow clone making a somewhat weak shadow clone being dispelled on one hit, would give her the information that they couldn't see her, or at least somewhat couldn't see they couldn't see Sasuke now, so go try and convince him to work as a team. And, well, yeah, with that, she'd just walk out, and Sasuke would, yeah, from glaring at where he perceived Naruto to go, he'd hear footsteps, he'd somewhat turn his head and was now just confused. Was it a genjutsu? No, impossible. She couldn't even, he would just glare at her and go, dope, what was that? What was what? Sasuke, are you willing to work as a team? Or are you just going to blow me off? And, well, if you do, well, you're going to be stuck there. So either you stay stuck there, or I help you out and we work as a team. Well, yeah, with Sakura to get the bells. Because if not, we're probably going to fail. Sasuke would just glare at her. She'd go glare at me, or what you like. Because glaring at me ain't an answer. She'd just glare at her even more before saying, I don't need your help. She'd shrug and go, okay, bye then. Whack. She'd just, kick him over the head. Go, oops, didn't see you there. As he just glare at Naruto as she just walk off. As well, she'd try Sakura, and yeah, so she'd somewhat walk over into the Forested Arab, and then sensing over to Sakura and releasing the Genjutsu. Sakura somewhat barred up, going, Sasuke, where is he? He was Sakura. It was a Genjutsu. He was defeated by Genjutsu, the one thing that you slated to be better than me at. Sakura just glared at her and Naruto back her, why do you think I'm here, Sakura? Use your head for once. As she just somewhat glare at her. Sakura just send her a glare. Though she would actually think about it and go, sure, and it's like, I should go, and don't forget that our sensei is ex-Anbu captain, so he's borderline S rank, though he's actually A rank, which means he's extremely powerful and in one fell swoop could kill us. So keep that in mind when you're thinking to, should I work with you? Should I work in a team with you? Sakura would go, what about, I already asked him and he said that he didn't need my help in that, or, mine/our help, as he miscalled a bell. Sakura would somewhat think about it more before thinking, well, why would I need her help? I could provide more help to Sasuke. I could help Sasuke and then he could get both bells and give me one, and then we wouldn't have to deal with Naruto back because she'd be back in the academy. As Sakura would go, no. Naruto would sigh and would somewhat just stare at Sakura in the eye. Sakura would then somewhat seemingly go, where did Naruto back go? And then all of a sudden she'd turn around to him, Sasuke's voice, as she'd somewhat yell out, well, pretty much scream out, as she'd then pass out once again, as Naruto would just be just sensing the way the second that, what she'd done was place Sakura under a Genjutsu, and that being the, I think it's D rank, or E rank, D or E rank, meaning they were taught to Genin, or very easy for Genin to do, which was nightmare Genjutsu, or whatever it's called, where it just shows that person their nightmare, their worst fear. And so we'll obviously, before Sakura would be seen Sasuke dying or dead, and that's what Naruto had done so without breathing no hand signs, because it was a basic Genjutsu, so he's going to freaking master it without requiring hand signs. And while she would occasionally do the hand signs, she wouldn't need them and only did them to seem dumber than what she actually was. So, after a while though, Kakashi would somewhat find, the clone would somewhat look at Kakashi and go, Sensei, do you want to know something? Because Kakashi would go, would crack an eyebrow and go, "What's that? You've been fighting a fake this entire time," as before Kakashi could ask anything further. The clone would say release and would dispel in a puff of smoke, with Kakashi being completely and utterly surprised that he was fighting. He was fighting as the smoke would clear, as he'd realise he was fighting his other clone the entire time. And then he'd somewhat realise, maybe did she do it too? Maybe Sasuke was working with her, maybe Sakura would as well, maybe they were actually. And then he'd hear, so seems like you fell for my shadow clone, Kakashi. He'd look up as he'd somewhat sigh, as he could feel Sasuke and Sakura's chakra nowhere near her, and would someone look at her. I presume they don't work. They don't work as a team. So, well, I guess really, what's the point of continuing? Sure, I could see how I step up to, as an A. I could see how I go up against an A rank ninja of Konoha, a Jonin A rank ninja, or I could just quit here and go back to the academy, I guess. And so that's not really my style, Databeo. So as you'd crack her knuckles, she'd go, now then, my clone's been going somewhat easy on you to gauge more so, say, your reaction time and more so your abilities, as if you think about it for even for maybe a couple of seconds, you'd realise that your fighting had been slowly getting faster and faster and faster and faster, to see the capacity and wit and seeing your reaction time, your speed, and how good you are at reacting to enhanced or increased speed that initially wasn't there. Kakashi would just somewhat blink and would realise that she had in fact been there, had been getting faster in somewhat stages and jumps of speed, and that they had been currently somewhat sparring at somewhat low to mid tuning speed, and somewhat would somewhat start getting a bad feeling that he may regret telling them to go all out on him, as well, yeah. So, she'd somewhat shoot out. She'd seemingly almost disappear from the branch, though she was travelling practically a blur, as Kakashi just barely get his hands up in time to somewhat block. Just as her fist made contact, the bell would go off, as Kakashi would be sent flying backwards into into a tree, and he would somewhat wince as his entire body he just wanted to scream out so badly from pain, but he wouldn't. He'd hold it in. He'd hold all the pain in that his body was going through. Though as he'd somewhat open up his eyes, and he'd go, well, seems like, he's failed to get a bell. As he'd somewhat just honestly go, oh, really? What's this then? As you just casually pick it up from the ground, as it'd go wide-eyed, as you'd then think back and would realize and would look down, and his belt was cut. The belt was cut from it, and would think back and would then realize, and would somewhat realize that her clone had managed to cut a bell and kept it hidden from his sight, and had kept them occupied long enough to not bother looking back down to the bells to check if he had both bells. And that she had just been occupying him until the bell eventually rang out. And whilst they didn't, it somewhat told him that she had immense talent, that, sending her back to the academy could just stole those talents, all that. And to be able to somewhat obviously keep him somewhat occupied long enough to and to be able to do any of that and surprise him was a feat. And they would somewhat go back with him deciding to to somewhat tie up Sakura, as Sakura, the only thing she'd be useful for was a literal alarm. Well, either an alarm or, I don't know, just a banshee just screaming. That was the only thing she was good for. Anyway, though, from there, he would, after waking Sakura up, he would then give Naruto and Sasuke the lunch that he had packed somewhat for them. He packed probably 2 lunch boxes. And he told them that he'd give them a second chance and would somewhat tell them what they would have to do, and he would even tell them to work as a team this time, and that maybe they could get a bell. And considering Naruto I didn't even bother mentioning that she got a bell, which obviously silently told him that Naruto wasn't one to somewhat scream out that, say what she could obviously do or achieve, or that, especially when, it showed that she was maybe somewhat humble, or didn't look at herself that she was all really that strong, And, they were, Kakashi would somewhat seemingly send Shin away, who'd seemingly leave, though he'd obviously send Shin a bit away, though, and with Sakura's belly somewhat grumbling, Sasuke would give a bit of his food to Sakura, and then Naruto would as well. Though, of course, Sakura would initially somewhat not want to, as she didn't do anything, though Sasuke would say that we'd all need our energy to be useful, and she'd eventually resigned and took the food from them. And of course Kakashi would reappear and would then somewhat in his dramatic way tell them that they had passed, and he'd tell them to meet him at the Hokage Tower at 8 o'clock tomorrow. With that, he would then somewhat send Shin away to go and obviously tell the Hokage that his team had passed. And, though Sasuke would, after that, they would somewhat leave their separate ways. Well, more so Sasuke would leave with Sakura chasing after him, and Naruto for a part would just somewhat sighing that, it seemed like, Kakashi seemingly was somewhat right yesterday, and that they did somehow miraculously pass. Though she felt it was more of just a pity pass than yeah, like he felt like somewhat sorry for either her or like, them being put as a team and past them to not deal with the academy, something like that. And yeah, and so, well, yeah, with that, the next day, a month would go by. Yeah, with that, I think I said a month would go by, which it would, and during the month, Kakashi would actually somewhat train more so because of Naruto showing an extreme, almost extreme, somewhat almost Jonin kind of somewhat level of combat ability, so we somewhat decided to train them, and his first one to do would be tree walking. And so the next day, after taking a single meal, after the single mission that they would take, Kakashi would have them. Yeah, and then somewhat tell them that the next thing that they would be doing would be to walk up a tree, and before he could say or even demonstrate, Naruto would say, Sensei, I can already do that, as Kakashi would stare at her and go, really now, Naruto? Can you actually do it? As in the second she'd heard Kakashi practically asking her, or doubting her, she'd somewhat moved directly to the tree and started walking up it. So, yeah, Kakashi would somewhat be surprised, though he would then somewhat tell Sasuke and Sakura to do what she did and walk up the tree, sending Sakura to, like he'd explain to, send Sakura to your feet so that you stuck to the tree. Sakura would get it down first time like she did in canon, though Sasuke wouldn't, and would somewhat glare up at the both of them that he couldn't do something that the two girls could. And yeah, Kakashi would somewhat gesture for them to come down, which they would, and he would then tell the two girls to follow him, which they would, and Kakashi would arrive at a river, as he would look at Naruto and go, well, can you? And she'd go, yeah, I've had 6 years, we've been in the academy for roughly 6 years. So of course during that time outside of it, I trained heavily in chakra control and my other around in other aspects in other fields as well. So yeah, I can do it, because obviously I can do the normal clone jutsu, as Kakashi would go. You can do I can do the normal illusionary clone, which thus then means that I can do this, as Kakashi would wonder what she meant by this before he felt a tap on his shoulder. He'd turn around as he'd go wide-eyed, as Sakura would go, huh? What did you do? Naruto, what did you? As Kakashi would go, Dad, but you're dad. It'd be now talking to a tree. Yeah. As Naruto would go, I just placed them under a genjutsu. Though, and Kakashi would somewhat almost start crying before he'd realise that, wait, he's meant to be dead, and would then quickly throw his hand sign up, throw the hand sign up and shout release. And though his dad go, son, are you okay? Like Kakashi, Kakashi, are you okay? As Kakashi would somewhat back in, no, this can't be happening, this can't be real, as he would then bite down, drawing blood from his mouth or lip, and would and he would then break the genjutsu, as Naruto would somewhat look at him and go, I guess you probably didn't exactly like that one, Sensei, as Kakashi could feel his eyes, his cheeks wet. He would touch them and realise he was crying as he'd go, that was Genjutsu, Sensei. And yes, as Kakashi just somewhat nodded, though he'd quickly somewhat get himself back together and would then proceed to walk out onto the water with Naruto, and he would then tell Sakura to come along, and that they would be standing here in the middle, and that she would have to come over and Sakura would just thinking like that if Naruto Baka could do it, then so could she. And she would immediately fall right through the water and would somewhat immediately yell or scream out. Definitely shout cold. And she would make it back to the bank. Actually, I hadn't really even left the bank, and she'd be somewhat just, Kakashi would go, well, what are you waiting for? Come on. As Sakura would go, well, no, I'm cold and wet. As Kakashi would go, so? You're a Kunoichi, deal with it. Now come, or unless you want to be sent back to the academy now, do you? As Sakura would somewhat gulp and would immediately try again with her falling through. And yeah, it's safe to say that would be how the week roughly went by, with that at the end of the with it being somewhat Saturday/Sunday, with then Sasuke somewhat joining them in, or joining Sakura in water walking, whilst Naruto and Kakashi just casually sparred on the water. And yeah, so from there, almost 2 weeks went by. Yeah, with somewhat the couple days went by, and finally Sasuke could also water walk, and Sakura could also somewhat water walk as well. And yeah, he would then somewhat tell them to somewhat both spar against Naruto in only taijutsu hand-to-hand combat, and that the second that any of them were to use any ninjutsu, they would be thrown out. That'd be someone disqualified, and that the person that would win this would be would somewhat get he would teach them a jutsu. And they would somewhat nod, and Kakashi could almost immediately see that Naruto, or at least had a decent idea that Naruto could possibly, definitely, most certainly win, though considering she couldn't use any. Kakashi only said ninjutsu, he didn't say genjutsu. Yeah, though he did say that they couldn't use, that the only chakra they could use was to stay above the water. And, safe to say, Sakura was the first one knocked out. And a minute or so late, and Naruto would somewhat just be, not really toying with Sasuke, but should be dragging the fight out on purpose, as eventually though Sasuke would, not wanting to somewhat give in, would end up falling through the water, as well, it'd be somewhat panting heavily as from somewhat the slow but surely chakra exhaustion that was creeping in. From Naruto just continued somewhat standing like, like it was nothing, like she hadn't been fighting at all. As Kakashi go, so it seems that I'll be teaching you the jutsu. Naruto would just somewhat nod. And, well, yeah, he would look over to somewhat Sasuke and would walk onto the water and pick him up and would realize that he was passed out. So, he would somewhat, Sakura would ask if Sasuke was okay with him stating that Sasuke would be fine. And that he just needed to rest, and that a good day's rest should be enough for him to, be back. And yeah, with that he then somewhat sent him away, and a minute or so later I'd sent him back. And he would then somewhat tell Sakura to, he'd hand Sakura, he wanted to somewhat at least check their, say, affinities, their nature affinities, and get them somewhat trained in that, as he was going to teach them a jutsu, or one of them, whoever won a jutsu, but in whatever nature affinity that they had, because obviously he'd copied over 1,000 jutsu, so he'd know at least a jutsu in every element. And yeah, he would give a piece of paper to his Naruto and Sakura. Naruto would wonder why, both girls would wonder why their sensei just gave them paper. Kakashi would state that was somewhat chakra paper. Sakura would seem still stared at him with Naruto. Eyes would seem the most bright, and as she'd realise what Kakashi meant by it, and would go, you think we're actually ready, Sensei? As Kakashi would go, well, Sakura doesn't have enough chakra for it, but hopefully she can grow her reserves to actually be able to use it. You've got more than enough chakra for obvious reasons, and Sasuke can obviously already do elemental jutsu, somewhat elemental jutsu, but yes, I would still check his just in case it's not what he believes it is. Naruto would nod, and Sakura would be confused as Kakashi would then state that the paper she had in her hand was chakra conductive paper, and that it would, after an explanation later, Sakura would send chakra into it with it catching the light, as so Sakura obviously would somewhat freak out naturally, as the paper would then fall and continue to burn, as Kasuga would somewhat muse and say that she has fire. He would then look over to Naruto as Naruto would send chakra into it, as it would split in half and get wet. Though it firstly got wet, then split in half, which meant that her main affinity was water, and a strong secondary wind affinity as well. And Kakashi could somewhat understand, as besides from looking almost nearly exactly like Krishna, I guess that she'd probably share the same possible affinity with Kushina, that being water. And he'd presume that not having wind was probably due to Kushina learning wind and Minto having a wind affinity, or just both knowing wind affinity, and and that's just what she got. Yeah. And he would then somewhat obviously tell you what they would have to do. And yeah, once Sakura was out of the way, somewhat trying to bind a leaf, well, yeah, trying to somewhat bind a leaf to Ash. Naruto would somewhat go over and ask if she could use like the Shadow Clone Jutsu to speed up the process in training for wind and for her water and wind affinity. Kakashi would nod and tell her to just be careful because I should somewhat just gestures like worries away. Should go, you don't need to worry, Sensei. I've messed about with the Cyclone Jutsu enough to know how to avoid the backlash of the exhaustion that you would get otherwise. As Kakashi should go, wait, well, yeah, I've been messing about with it for quite some time now, so of course I would know how to get rid of the exhaustion part. Yeah, from there, those two, Naruto would, as such, would somewhat within the first week would learn both, how to manipulate water somewhat and how to cut a leaf with could cut a leaf with wind and draw water from the said leaf. After that, he would then obviously tell Naruto the next two steps, which for wind was to cut waterfall in half, and for water, don't think it's ever stated what the second step for water is, or what the steps to water are. So it'd just be like finding a pond or that and spinning a giant, and spinning like all the water inside pond and spin it in a circle to create a vortex, or a vortex, or a whirlpool vortex, or a maelstrom. And obviously, he tested Sasuke's with, as well, with it revealing that Sasuke had lightning, and as such, all for you would be training in the in the chakra affinity. From that, during the period in which, so her first day in learning level 2 in wind and water, Kakashi would call her real Naruto over to him. Naruto would walk over and go, is there anything I can help you with, Sensei? Kakashi would somewhat go, well, just follow me, I'll tell you in a minute. Naruto would crack an eyebrow, but would follow a Sensei. And, a minute or so later, Kakashi would stop and would turn around to face her and would say, before you ask, no, I haven't forgotten about, what I said last week, where I'd, teach whoever won a jutsu, and I'd been thinking about what jutsu to, somewhat teach you, and, with you knowing who your parents are, and that you have the fox inside of you, somewhat thought that your father would probably want you to know this jutsu. It was his own original jutsu. I should crack an eyebrow and go and should think for a minute before I should somewhat let her think. I should then realise I should look at him and go, you mean you mean the Rasengan? As Kakashi would somewhat nod, and it'd go, it'd go, well, of course your father somewhat taught me it, and I feel like I owe him to teach you, his daughter, his jutsu, his original jutsu. And she would somewhat just she would just end up cuddling Kakashi and would somewhat say thank you, as he'd be, Um, yeah, she treasured her. Well, yeah, she somewhat treasured her red hair because Hiruzen had somewhat told her that, and always had told her that she looked obviously like her mother, and especially her red hair, as hers and Kusuno's red hair would be the same shade of red. So yeah, she treasured her red hair, and to know that obviously Kakashi was going to teach her something of her father's. Yeah, it was more than, yeah, she just couldn't hold in her emotions, and it just did what came natural to her, which was to cuddle and cry. Whoever made her feel so happy, overwhelmingly happy, and yeah. And so 2 or so minutes later, and she'd somewhat back away from Kakashi, and we'd somewhat finish drying her eyes as she'd look up at him, as Kakashi would then somewhat bring out a scroll and would then somewhat send chakra into it as a bunch of balloons, more specifically, a bunch of water balloons would appear. So you'd just start Kakashi as Kakashi would go, no, we're not going to have a water fight. What you need to do is pop it with your chakra. Like this, as he would hold out his hand, as it would then, after a couple of seconds, it would then get bumpy before popping, spraying a bit of water everywhere. So you'd then just somewhat nod and try the exact same thing, and with her chakra being almost near perfect, it took her, you'd been more somewhere, it would take her a good day or so to learn the first step, and after she'd learned the first step and showed him that she could do that, Kashi then brought out the then rubber balls and told her to pop them, and had showed her that yes, it is indeed actually possible. And yeah, a week later, and she then asked what the next step was, after showing him that she did indeed pop the rubber ball. And Kakashi was thinking this is some type of freaking racket for the fastest person to learn the Rasengan. And he then showed her he then somewhat got out a water balloon again, as she just started him as Kakashi would then proceed to somewhat blow out into it before tying it and then putting it in his hand and then just sending chakra into it. But she just stared him as Kakashi would go, this is what I'm doing inside the rubber ball, as he would then make the Rasengan, as she'd go wider, as Kakashi would go, yes, this is the final step, Naruto. And with the first step required more so control, the second power, the third the first, so the first was rotation, the second power, the third control, compression and control. And this is what you get, as he would he would then jam the Rasengan into a tree, as it would just drill right through it before dispelling. So would then grab the rubber ball and she'd start to send chakra into it, and after somewhat a while it would then disperse. It would then somewhat pop, as Kakashi would tell her that she can either form the Rasengan and try and get it into her palm, or she can continue to somewhat like he can give her some water balloons and fill them, and she could obviously use her own lungs, fill them up with air, and try and pop them, and try to not pop them. Though, yeah, she'd, and Kakashi told her more so to not obviously use the Sharingan Jutsu, to learn it by herself, as it's something her father made, and it was somewhat his legacy, and that she should thus learn it. Should somewhat learn it in the proper way, and not using the clone jutsu, the Sharingan Jutsu. She had somewhat nodded in understanding, and had and so at the end of the month she hadn't mastered the Rasengan, but she had mastered the non-elemental Rasengan. She doesn't know it's incomplete yet. Kakashi was keeping that secret for at least a while longer. And with that, of course, Naruto also had learned how to slice a waterfall in half, more so her clones doing it while she tried doing the Rasengan, mastering the Rasengan with one hand, and then possibly even doing it with both hands. She'd mastered cutting waterfall in half, and then had started spanning her clones one by one, one either side, to make it somewhat harder to slice the waterfall, so that by the time, that to build up her control even more. And she also had mastered the somewhat making a whirlpool appear in a pond. And next up after that was to make multiple whirlpools in the single pond, which was harder, but again she got that down. And next up after that was to pull water from the air, which only the second Hokage was ever able to do, Tobirama. And so that's what her clone set out to do. Though Kakashi though Sasuke also had learned how to stop shocking himself, and with that, Kakashi had somewhat gave Sasuke somewhat a low level somewhat lightning jutsu, and had he'd somewhat gave Naruto two jutsus, one wind, one water, that being water style water bullet and wind style wind bullet, or wind style vacuum bullet, but it's not really a vacuum, so I call it wind bullet, not vacuum. And he'd though somewhat nearing at the end, he'd somewhat decided to also, because Naruto had actually shown that she could now perform the Rasengan properly in her hand, so it would take her like a 30, 20 odd seconds, though she was actively trying to get it down. Though Kakashi had told her that now that you can actually create the Rasengan in her hand, she can go to hell with the shadow clones and trying to get it down to make it to try and get it made as fast as possible. And of course Nomdi had learned, she hadn't yet shown the fact that she could use her chains. She'd been training with them in private. Because she wanted them to be surprised and gobsmacked when she showed her ability with her chains. And and well, yeah, with that, obviously the month would be over, and yeah, they would meet up at the Hokage Tower. More so of just capturing, they just call Tora, as Tora would be somewhat strangled by her owner, or his owner, her owner. Is Tora? I think Tora is a gal, if not male. Anyway, with its owner strangling it. Well, yeah, here's when we then look at. Well, yeah. Here's when we go. Now then, teams having to do on another mission. We've got plenty of D ranks to do as someone Naruto knew some D ranks were important, but damn were they getting annoying. They've done 31, 32 now missions, and she somewhat wanted to get out of Konoha. Well, not exactly out of Konoha, precisely she wanted a mission to take her out of Konoha. She wanted a C rank mission, so she'd go, come on Gigi, can't we do a C rank mission? Surely we're ready now to take one. After all, it's only escorting, it's nothing too dangerous. Then before Hiruzen could speak, Iruka would speak up, chastising her and saying that she wasn't ready and that they weren't ready and that they'd only been, getting for a month and could somewhat go on, though Hiruzen would somewhat cough, which would stop Iruka's rant as Hiruzen would go, as there is a somewhat proper way in doing those, though I presume if your sensei agrees that you are ready, then I'll give you one. As Naruto would somewhat look at Kakashi, as Kakashi would say, well, Hokage-sama, I do believe that they are indeed ready for a harder mission, to say a C rank mission. Hiruzen would nod and would, and Iruka looked like he was about to just blow up, though he managed to keep his mouth shut. As Hiruzen would somewhat look through the C rank missions before going, this is a good one, as he'd pull out the corresponding scroll and would somewhat throw it over to Kakashi. Kakashi would quickly open it, read somewhat over it before closing it and go, we'll take it. As Hiruzen would then would shout out, bring in the bridge builder. Tazuna would walk in, as he'd say the interaction between them would somewhat be similar, though he wouldn't call Naruto Shorty, though he would somewhat say who the tomato was. And the second he'd said that, there's a kunai two kunai, one going for his balls, and another one going for the bottle. Or the kunai that was going for his balls had been stopped by Kakashi, though Kakashi had let the one going for the bottle break the bottle. As Kakashi going, no, Naruto, I'm pretty sure you're not meant to be turning a client into a woman now. As Naruto just snort. Well, yeah, would someone else snort and would go, well, it would be his own fault now, wouldn't it, Sensei? As how was somewhat slowly starting to rise up. Hiruzen somewhat seen that in Kakashi, also spotting that the red aura was slowly coming. The red aura that Kushina would have anytime she got angry, and remembering that Kushina could be very damn violent when angry, had told him to meet him in front gates tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and with that, he then dismissed them for the day. And Naruto, not really cared and sunshined immediately away to somewhat cool herself down, which generally meant destroying 10 to 20 trees or so to get her anger truly out and to somewhat calm herself back down so that she was somewhat level-headed again. And the next day, Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto would be at the front gates. Well, Kakashi would be somewhat out. It would be with that client as they would somewhat walk up as Kakashi would go. Would someone look at his game and go, "Do you have everything you need? Have you all packed for a month?" Which they would somewhat nod, though you could see Sakura's one seemed more heavier than everyone else's. But probably for that. And only for that he was imagining it, so he didn't really say anything, and he then, they would then proceed to walk out. Would then someone obviously perceive and would start the Land of Waves mission. And with that, guys, I'm going to end this What If here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this new version of What If Naruto was a girl / female, was born a girl. And yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed it, tell me in the comments down below. And stay safe, have a good day or night wherever you are and whenever you are watching this. And good bye.